What's going on, you bunch of heretics? Grab your paint pots, grab your recaff, and let's put some paint on the ever-growing pile of potential, because it's here. The heresy is my therapy. SlapChop tutorials, as requested by you guys. So today, episode 1, it is the fundamentals of SlapChop painting and the kind of painting that or the SlapChop technique I've developed. Today this is aimed at a few different types of people. Aimed at people like me who have a full-time job, very busy, and just want an army that's not going to go to Golden Demon, win any painting competitions, but looks good on the tabletop. It's aimed at the beginners out there who have just got into the hobby, that want their models to look nice, and that is a great way to ease themselves into the hobby. That's kind of where I'm aiming these videos at. And of course, everyone who just wants to learn the SlapChop technique and kind of dabble in the arts of SlapChop. Don't worry, today, this is not one of those videos where I'm going to go, okay, this is a really easy painting technique, and the next thing you know, I pull out an airbrush. No airbrushes in sights. We're going to go through all the things that you need for this video, or for this tutorial, and again, it's just a very basic fundamentals lesson. So at the end of the video, you'll probably see a fully done model with basing and a few metallics on there. This is just for the fundamental element of the SlapChop, all right, which will include the layering system, the contrast paints, followed by that final little dry brush to just get rid of the blotchiness from SlapChop. So yes, hopefully this should be right. We're going to do the Crimson Fist from the Warhammer Heroes Series 4 kill team that I've been working on lately. So we're going to do one of those today. So it'd be an Imperial Fist, so a simple blue, a simple crimson, a crimsony red, and a few little things to do his belt kit with. All right, so without further ado, let's get on to all the things that you will need for this SlapChop video. Hope it goes well. Enjoy. Okay, here is the paint station. So we're going to work from kind of like left to right. So first of all, make sure you've got plenty of tissue. Dry brushes, I've got a medium dry brush and a small dry brush. I like the synthetic brushes from Games Workshop. So here we have a small synthetic and a medium layer and a small layer. Obviously I've got the model and a painting handle. This is I've already kind of sprayed in black straight away. So just kind of that's with those there. Don't worry, no airbrush. With a spray can, easy enough. So there he is there. That one's painting handle. The collection of paints we're going to use today. Wet palette. This is the Army Painter wet palette setup. Absolutely love this. This is an absolute must. Paints you're going to want today. So we've got a dark grey. This is specifically Mechanicus standard grey. A medium grey. We've got Administratum grey. A lighter grey, so Orthron grey. And then I have a Corax white. You can either Corax white or white scar, either or. You're going to want your Xandri dust. And then for the contrast paint for today, you're going to want, so we have contrast Talazar blue, Flesh Tearers red, Pterodon turquoise, Black Templar, Grunter fur, Cygor brown, Iodine yellow, and finally some Warp Lightning. So there we go. That is everything you're going to need for today's video. Cool, let's get to it. Guys, so here we are. We're all set up and we're all good to go. So here we have our model. Like I say, I've already primed him with Chaos Black. You can either use Chaos Black and with a spray can, or of course you can always just a couple of thin coats of Abaddon Black, which should be alright. Okay, yeah, so first of all we're going to do, we're going to take our Mechanicus Standard Grey, give it a little shake as always, pot out, take our medium dry brush, we're just going to get a little bit of grey on there. Alright, about that there. You know what we're going to do, just going to take it all off. Take it all off. Take it all off. Right, take it all off. Alright, and all we're going to start doing is just small circles, nice and messy, all around the model. Okay. Okay, so with the Mechanicus Standard Grey applied, remember we can just be, I'll just turn that light up a second so you can see properly. Again, you haven't got to be neat with it, but we're just trying to cover as much of the model as possible, just to make sure that we can get all the grey. So nice dark grey over the top of him, just like that, nice and simple. Alright, so make sure you're getting underneath, a little point there, make sure you're getting underneath, all in here. Again, hasn't got to be neat, just get that dark grey all over the model. So next up, we're going to need our small dry brush. We're done with our Mechanicus Standard Grey now, and now we need our Administratum Grey. Again, quick shake of the bottom, and exactly the same again. Don't need to be neat with it. We're not paying too much detail to the bottoms. We just want to be kind of concentrating more, coming down the model, like so. So I haven't got to be like, we're about trying to get into here. We've done that with the Mechanicus Standard Grey. This is where we're now just going to be kind of just keeping the model upright and going over. Okay, so again, there's about the layer thickness that you want on your brush, and you know the routine. Take it all off, and all we're doing from here, we just start to apply that next layer of dry brushing. And again, nothing neat, nothing wild, we're just getting it all on. Okay, so as you can see, that is the Administratum Grey, and now we're really just starting to pick out those extra little highlights on the model. You can kind of already see the natural shadows, the natural progression of the model coming in nicely. Now this is where the fun begins, because now we're going to go on to our Ulthuan Grey. This is really going to start to make the model pop, and you have to go a lot lighter than you think with SlapChop. So we're going to go Ulthuan Grey, and all we're going to do with this, again, wash your dry brush off, make sure it's nice and dry. With this, all we're going to do, we're just going to go down the model like so, just to make sure that we really pick out the highlights. And again, we're not going to go underneath, we're just literally going down the model, just to make sure we really make these highlights really pop. Alright, so Ulthuan Grey, little shake, just get some Ulthuan Grey on there, again plenty on, and you know the routine, same again guys, take it all off, uh-oh, knocked it over, it's all part of it, and again just take a little bit onto your thumb as always, and all we're going to do, again messy with it, just start to really pick out those bits. Remember, we're just going really where the light is, so where the light would shine on it, get those highlights on. I'm just going down the brush. Again, I'm not sweeping it up, I'm flicking it down. There it is, with the Ulthuan Grey now applied. As you can see, the model has really started to come alive. You can see the highlights, you can see the shadows. So yeah, that's the Ulthuan Grey. Now finally, we're going to just do a little bit of the old white scar, and this is, again, just along the tops, again, coming down, picking out where the light would catch. Alright, that's what we're going to do for this next part. So again, either white scar or Corex white. Again, a quick shake. And then, yep, same again. Just a bit on there. Take it all off. You know the routine, guys. Then all we're going to do, like I say, just really pick out the tops of the shoulder pads at the top of the pack. And all we're doing, we're just, again, we're not going up and down, we're just flicking down where the light would catch, just to really finalise the model. Okay. Right, okay, so again, this is quite an important part. So we have got ourselves a Crimson Fist guy, but I'm going to use a contrast Talazar blue for this. So contrast Talazar blue, I need my wet palette. And again, we're going to thin it down a little bit, so a little bit of water in. Okay, a little bit of water on the palette. As always, quick little shake. On, as you can see, it's just watered down a little bit. Nothing too wild, so maybe a 3-to-1 mix. Yeah, you know, 3-to-1, 4-to-1 mix. Wipe off your brush. And all we're going to do is apply it on the areas that you want it to go on. So we'll start off with the shoulder pad. And all we're doing is just nice and thin, all over the model, nothing rushed. Just be mindful, it's a bit of a paint by numbers now. Just be mindful of what you want. Obviously this is going to be a Crimson Fist, so his fist is going to be red, and I'm going to make him a sergeant, so he's going to have a red helmet. You know, why not? So again, we're just going to do a top layer, nice and thin, cover the areas that we want with this blue. Like I say, even with the just as a quick key point, I am using the layer medium brush just because it's a bigger brush and it gets more. But even in the darker areas, even underneath those bits, just still get that blue in there. Like I say, you're just painting by numbers, get that blue in there, and you can start to see it all just really take shape. Right, so there it is, that's the blue done. Again, I quite like this blue like this. It's nice enough. You can see the different tones, and that's just that one layer. All done. Next, as I said before, we're going to move on. We're going to grab our Flesh Tearers red. And again, I want him to be a sergeant, so we're going to paint the hands, the helmet, so the hands, and then because he's a Crimson Fist. I'm going to move over to my my small layer synthetic brush, and we're going to do the exact same thing. Make sure you wet your brush, give yourself a quick shake out, and again 3-4 parts paint to water, maybe 4, 3, 2, I don't know, but you just thin it down just ever so slightly. Alright, same again, all we're going to do, just nice and light, blade up our brush a little bit, and all we're going to do, we're just going to apply it to the hands, just onto the hands, nice and thin. Again, spread it around, avoid the blotchiness. And then onto his helmet as well. Mind the eyes, but just get his helmet all as you want. And again, just take your time with it. Nothing wild. Just take your time. Paint by numbers. Colour within the lines, I say. Colour within the lines. So there we have it. That is the sort of like the crimson, if you will, on our Crimson Fist Space Marine. Next, we're now going to add, we're still going to start to do the work on his holster and his little utility pouches and his belt. For that, we're going to start, like I say, we're starting light and working dark. So we're going to go with our contrast Gore Grunter fur. So nice little brown to work with. Same again, you guessed it, a couple of parts paint and water. So I go 4, you know, 3 or 4 to 1, just so it's a bit thinner. Rinse off and then apply. So again, load the brush, circle it off, and then again, like we say, paint by numbers, just on the area, like so. And as I say, we're working light dark because in a moment we're going to use Cygor brown, just to give it some depth. Alright, and again, like I say, just move it all around. It's nothing neat, nothing wild, just as easy as this. Again, we're just painting by numbers. The shadows are there for a reason, you know. Okay, Cygor fur is a very, very dark brown. Okay, it's a very dark brown. Okay, so again, you need to be very thin with this. So again, just get that palette, just dampen it down, because you want to almost maybe like a 1-to-1 with this. 1 part water, 1 part Cygor brown, and all you want to do is again, all you're doing is adding a little bit of depth. So just add a bit of depth into the areas that you want that depth created. Alright, so for me, I just kind of just into some of the crevices, just kind of makes it a little, just stand out a little bit more. Next up, it's time to do the sort of the casing of the weapon and his chainsword, and just some of the areas that we want to paint black. So for the black technique, what I use is the Tarragon turquoise. Again, nice and thin, and then we use Black Templar after that. So again, same again as we have been doing this entire tutorial. Shake off. Oh, he says, shake off. Again, just below on the palette. Bit of Tarragon turquoise on there. And just so it's a bit of a thinner mixture, so it's not going straight from the pot. Again, load it up, just take a little bit out, and then all we're going to do, just in those areas that we want to be black, we're going to just pop this Tarragon turquoise, and it just gives, when you see, you've probably seen on the masterclass video from Games Workshop, where they had that almost like that greenish tint. That's how we're going to create that with this. I mean, you can even leave it like that if you want to, not an issue, however you want it. But for this, we're just going to go over those areas with the Tarragon turquoise, and then same again just on the chain sword. Just mind out for the chain bits. Again, we're still using our small brush, and again we're just painting by numbers. The highlights are already there for us. Tarragon turquoise now applied, we can start to really see the model take shape. No blotchiness, nice and thinned out. Easy as that. So now we're going to have our Black Templar, and same again. Place them on the palette. Again, 2, 3 bits. And then just a little bit of water in there. Nothing too wild. Again, just mixing it out, just so we are thinning it down ever so slightly. Remember, we say we'll go light to dark when we're applying these contrast paints. And all you can do, just darken out. Just darken out that gun casing, that weapon casing for the bolt pistol. And again, you'll see just that little green hue just left behind ever so slightly. But again, it's really important that we thin down that contrast paint to create, because otherwise it gets blotchy and it will just go straight over and you won't see it. Okay, so again, we're just nice and light with it, paint by numbers. As I say before, no edge highlighting required. We're just painting by numbers. It's grim, it's dark, it's the 40k universe. Okay, so finally we've got these sort of like these areas that we're going to paint. These are going to be gold. So some of these stuff that we've got here, we've got our, like it's a bit of like jewellery type thing, whatever you want to call it, on here. It's sort of like wrist, I don't know, yeah, wrist jewellery, I don't know what you want to call it. And then of course the plating on the bottom of the holster. For this, all we're going to use is the ironed in yellow. This will make sense in a minute. And you will need your Cygor fur, because we're just going to put a little bit of Cygor fur in the recesses as well, just to kind of make it pop a little bit and give it a slight NMM sort of look to it. Same again, you know the routine, onto our palette, and just spread it out a little bit on our palette. Okay, you don't need to add too much water to this, just a little bit. Alright, same again, we're just applying it, paint by numbers style. It might be a couple of layers you might need on this one, but again, as long as it's nice and thin, that's what we're after. No, it was the one, that's fine. You'll have to excuse the light on this, by the way. I know the lighting's not the best, but if I put the lighting on, it won't look right on the camera. So I do apologise. Again, just like with that wet palette, really helps it. Just maintain a little bit of, it just takes away the blotchiness when it's just thinned down ever so slightly. Like I say, remember we're always working light to dark. So we're just getting that bit of yellow on there. And same on here. Just along these beads, yellowy beads. You know, whatever you're into, you gotta have your bracelet on, you gotta have your bracelet on, I suppose. But again, you can do this whatever colour you want. This is just to kind of, like you say, give you a rough idea of how you can use different colours on your model. Alright. So with the yellow one, again, like you say, nothing too wild. Just had a little bit of break. Like I say, you can colour it whatever you want, but this is just to give you a bit of an idea of the colouring and how it all kind of looks on there. So remember, we're going to use our Gore Grunter fur. We had it earlier on anyway. We'll just keep that with our palette. And all we're going to do, and I mean nice and light, we're just going to kind of create in some of the gaps in here. Just going over it a little bit, just to kind of give it a bit of depth in some of the recesses. So in the depth, in some of the recesses, we're just going to basically pop it in there. And this will all make sense in a minute. Okay, it'll all make sense. And then you can kind of play around with it, how the light works. With how the light works. You just pop it in the sides. But underneath, it does take away the brightness of it, and again, just a little bit in the bottoms, in the edges. You'll see it when you're doing it yourself. I know the video doesn't quite paint it in the right light. I'm still getting used to these videos, so I do apologise. This is probably a bit of a garbage tutorial, but hopefully you'll be able to follow along with how I'm trying to explain it. But again, as long as it's nice and thin. I'm just trying to put it in some of the recesses. In some of the recesses. Hopefully, if I just turn this light on, you might see it a little better. So again, we're just in some of the recesses here. Again, just a little bit in there. Nothing too wild. Just having a bit of fun with it. Right, so most video tutorials will say stop there, that's the SlapChop all done. And you know what? You can do, it looks great, all you need there is just a bit of a basing and you would be good to go. However, I'm going to give you my little additional recipe secret. This is where the Xandri dust comes in. We're now going to do a complete dry brush over the entire model, okay, with the Xandri dust. So same again, but you need to take off literally like all of it. We're just doing this really, really thinly. What I like to do is, when I've got this, I can use the base. I can use the base to just take off a lot of it, okay? Work from the bottom, work from the bottom, work from the bottom, and all you're doing is just brushing over. Now ideally with the feet end, it's fine because that's where a lot of the dust and the gunk and the rubbish is going to be on his gear. So spend a lot of the time just doing it on the base, on the bottom, to get most of the dust off, because that's where the dirt, the armour, is not going to be clean. And as that starts to come off, we just then, just ever so slightly, just start going over the rest of the model, okay? And you'll just start to see just a bit of a change. You'll start to see that dust, that grime, and you'll start to see a bit of a flattening in the colours. You can probably see it there, the change. And again, don't be afraid to get absolutely everywhere. Okay, get absolutely everywhere. Again, you'll start to see it all dust up, the highlights really coming back, the blotchiness all gone. Again, but again, this is just nice and light, nothing wild, nothing mental, just nice and easy. When you come to reload your dry brush, okay, you come to reload your dry brush, again, get it on, take it all off as best as you can. If you have to, go on your thumb, just a little bit over the base, just to really make sure you've got loads of it off. And then we're going back again, just over the rest of the model, just over it all, really start to work on and get just that effect of the dust and the grime, the grim dark, but it also brings in the highlight that we're after. So we've got all the dusty effects that we want on the model. Again, it is a bit messy, so what? That's SlapChop for you, but there it is. So that's basically the dust effect. So now finally we're just going to finish off with the eyes, and all we're going to do is just white scar. Again, a little bit on. Oh, just going to get a little bit on there, just on our palette. And again, this can be damp, nothing too wild. And what you need to do is just into the actual eyes, into the lenses, just a white dot. Just a little white dot in there. And again, if it's messy and blotchy, it really doesn't matter, because the contrast paint will take care of the rest. Again, just on the other side, same detail. Now, hopefully, when you've done, don't worry about having to highlight anything else. We just pop in just a little white area, a little white dot, push it around a little bit, go have fun with it. You can, and again, like I say, you can be messy with it. I'll just come a bit closer, hang on. I'm trying to get the zoom in. There we go. Again, a little white dot in there. And all you can do, as we've done before, same again, grab your warp lightning, just a little bit on the wet palette, and all you can do is just straight into the eyes. Again, nice and light, and again, you can just be messy with it. Just be messy with it, nothing wild. Again, just a bit messy with it. If you catch around the edges, perfect, because that'll give it that bit of a, oh God, sorry guys. I keep getting it wrong. It will just create a bit of a glow around the eyes, because where you've gone with the dry brush, it will just turn it green. Okay, just turn it green. Okay guys, here he is, all finished. Added my own base on there just to finish him off and a little bit of the gunmetal work, but there he is, SlapChop complete. Hope you found this video useful and this helps out your SlapChop progression. Like I say, there'll be plenty more videos to come on this with different chapters, different models, and just how we apply the SlapChop technique. Hopefully this video has helped you out. If it has, give us a like, give us a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for even more SlapChop videos to come. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.